Have you ever wondered how to reverse your insulin resistance naturally using diet? Well, in this episode, I will tell you exactly how. I will tell you step by step what you can do to reverse your insulin resistance in diet, and make sure you stick until the end, because I will be explaining what is the ultimate solution. Okay, so many of us that have insulin resistance are trying to reverse it naturally through exercise and diet. Now make sure you check my video about insulin resistance explained, because you're gonna understand why I'm also recommending what I'm recommending to you today. Now there are a few steps that you can do to change your diet, and very easy steps, and there are steps that are a little bit more harder but possibly work a little bit faster. So let's go through all of them. First of all, what you should do is quit processed sugar. So what do I mean by processed sugar? I mean literally white sugar, cane sugar, and all sorts of processed sweets. So all the donuts, cookies, biscuits, granola bars, granola cereals, all of that has to go. Now, I know that it already sounds like something quite extreme, but don't forget that very often you can swap those things for actually stuff with sweetener. Many people that are actually talking about insulin resistance and insulin and are going a little bit more in depth about it will tell you that some sweeteners will still make a little bit insulin of being released in your body. But for now, we're trying to make a little step and reduce all the sugar. Now, of course, this will include soda and all sorts of fizzy drinks, so make sure you reduce that as well. So now when you have swapped all the sugar for sweetener, we already have a little bit lower insulin levels. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna start incorporating fiber into your diet. You can supplement with fiber if you want to. You can buy, for example, psyllium husk. You can buy it in tablets, or you can just eat it or make a little jelly. There are plenty of fiber supplements that you might want to take, but very important and the easiest thing is actually starting eating vegetables. Now, why is fiber recommended to actually lower your insulin? When you eat something that contains fiber, the sugar is released a little bit more slow. So you don't have this quick sugar rush that you get from drinking or eating pure sugar or a sugar cube. But the sugar is released a little bit slower. So because of that, insulin is also released a little bit slower, so in general levels out a little bit. So that is the next level. Start incorporating more fibrous vegetables into your diet. The adult should eat between 7 and 10 cups of vegetables. Most of them should be leafy greens, so start incorporating them in any way. And believe me, I know most of us are not used to salads, and especially if we're used to sugar, we don't really like the taste. But I would recommend maybe starting with baking some vegetables with olive oil, adding a lot of spices to them, adding them to your sauces and so on, to get used to the taste of vegetables, and then graduate to a salad. Next thing you're gonna want to do now, when you're already quit your sugar and you already quit your processed sugar and you've already incorporated more salads, is to start intermittent fasting. So what is intermittent fasting? I will do a special video about intermittent fasting as well. So intermittent fasting is having periods of time when you don't eat at all. So what we're going to be striving for at the beginning is to do at least 16-8, which means 16 hours of a day you don't eat and 8 hours of the day you do eat. But take under consideration that around 8 of those hours you're going to be sleeping. So if you already have 8 hours of sleeping, if you eat 4 hours before you go to bed and start eating 4 hours after you wake up, you already have 16 hours. Now, I will have special video about how to start intermittent fasting, but the longer fast you're gonna get, the quicker it's gonna lower your insulin. So for now, keep your whole food diet, keep your sweeteners, and keep your salads, and even keep some of the carbs, maybe keep potatoes and so on, but start intermittent fasting. And slowly you will see that you start feeling better for longer periods of time, and maybe you want to strive for 18-6 next, and maybe 24, and maybe even 1 meal a day. Now, what I would do now, when you have quite whole foods diet, you quit your processed sugar, maybe you eat a little bit of fruit, maybe eat potatoes, but you already eat a lot of salads, vegetables, good fats and so on, I would recommend trying low carb or ketogenic diet. Now, I was talking to you about the ultimate diet, and the ultimate diet would be ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting. Now, why ketogenic diet? Why not vegan diet and so on? Some people do vegan keto, so it is possible to do vegan keto if you don't want to eat meat. It's very restrictive though. But why keto over vegan? Ketogenic diet is focused on 80% of fats, 15% of protein, and 5% of carbs only. Now, if you watched my video on insulin resistance explained, you will see that every time we eat something, a little bit of insulin has to be released from our pancreas. The biggest amount of insulin has to be released in our body when we digest carbs. However, when we eat fats, it's just tiny little bit, and protein is something in the middle. So not eating for long periods of time is going to lower your insulin levels, and then eating the products that actually make us release the smallest amount of insulin will actually help you tremendously. And that will make you more insulin sensitive. And when you think about vegan diet, very often vegan diet is a whole foods diet. However, it still has in it maybe breads, maybe oats, or if it's just a whole foods diet, it still might have potatoes, carrots, fruit and so on that will still spike your insulin. So keeping the insulin at bay will actually give you the best results. And when I talk about insulin resistance, I don't mean only reversing it to lose weight. However, if you are a person that wants to lose weight, this is going to be the best thing for you. Try to do it at least periodically, or try to at least do intermittent fasting, because not eating at all, of course, will keep your insulin at all-time low. Some people also do prolonged fast up until 72 hours. I'm going to link video about that here as well. So minimum, I think what you should do is intermittent fasting and then incorporating keto, and your insulin will be at that all-time low. And trust me, if you have a problem losing weight, this is your best bet. If you lower your insulin, you're gonna notice that you're starting to lose fat, because your fat has to be released. If we think about that, our fat is there for the times of famine, so we have to put ourselves in times of famine to actually start burning fat. And don't worry if you don't eat for a long time and your body actually is used to that. When your insulin levels finally get lower, you will not feel hunger at all. And this is also another great thing about ketogenic diet, that you do not feel hunger at all. Of course, there are certain stuff that can ruin that process, like stress and like inflammation and like other health conditions. But if all of those things are off the table, you will see tremendous difference. All right. I hope you got value from that video. Please click like button, click subscribe button and the bell button as well to be notified about my future videos. And please leave me comment down below and let me know if you have tried ketogenic diet, or maybe you tried intermittent fasting, or maybe you tried something else that worked for you. Please make sure you leave a comment, and I'll see you in next video. Bye.